Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel. It's Learn French with Queen, your space for learning French. Is this the first time you're stumbling on my video? I say big welcome. If you've always been here with me, I say big thank you as well. Thank you for staying back. Thank you for supporting me. And of course, for those who are just tuning in and you're wondering what's up, you got to check out my previous videos to know what's up on this platform. If you find them useful, of course, give them a thumbs up, share to loved ones, and don't forget to hit the subscription button. So on today's video, we'll be looking at how to say time in French language. Of course, it's really not something difficult, okay? So it's something easy, it's not hard. Needless to say that you want to learn how to say time in French. Of course, you should know the French number 0 to 60 or more. That is the least you should do. 0 to 60, of course, because in a day we have 24 hours and we have 60 seconds, make a minute. Okay, so you see why you should learn 0 to 60. It's quite important. So there are different ways of saying time in French language, but for saying the clock, as in the time that we want to look at in this video, we say that is il est 2 heures, il est 3 heures, il est 1 heure. Okay, so it is which means ha. And of course, there are other ways of saying time in French language as well. We have temps, we have fois. Okay, so it is important to know the context usage. That is when to use each of these time. Okay, so to explain better, temps is used for duration of time, while fois is used for frequency. I hope you understand that. So I want to expatiate more on the difference in context usage. So for example, you have j'ai passé du temps ici. Okay, so can you see the word, the time that was used there? The time, they made use of temps. J'ai passé du temps ici. That means I spent so much time here. So that's duration, telling us how long the person spent with that person. Then we have combien de fois avez-vous visité la France? Combien de fois avez-vous visité la France? So can you see the fois there, the time there is asking for the frequency. How many times has the person visited France? I hope you get that. Okay, so let's get started into the main thing for today's video. So now, how do we ask for time in French language? So you can ask by saying quelle heure est-il? So if you say it together, you make a liaison, you have quelle heure est-il? So let me say it again, you have quelle heure est-il? Quelle heure est-il? Okay, so you can as well say il est quelle heure? Il est quelle heure? Est-ce que tu as l'heure? Est-ce que tu as l'heure? And of course, if you are speaking to an elderly person or you are speaking to a stranger, of course, you want to be courteous. Please. So instead of saying est-ce que tu as l'heure, you can say est-ce que vous avez l'heure. That simply means please can you tell me the time? And of course, you can use s'il vous plaît. Quelle heure est-il, s'il vous plaît? Or, quelle heure est-il, s'il te plaît? Il est quelle heure, s'il te plaît? Il est quelle heure? S'il vous plaît, s'il te plaît. Whichever way you want to use it, all is asking for the time. And of course, if we ask the time, we want to hear the response, right? So now, for giving a response for oh, the time is this, you will say il est plus the hour and maybe the seconds if there is need for that. Okay, so there is no other way of responding for clock, as in for saying the time in French, other than il est. You say plus the hour. So you cannot say something like c'est, maybe c'est 1 heure, c'est 2 heures. No, you say il est 1 heure, il est 2 heures. Okay? So I hope that's cleared. So before I continue, it is important to know that the French use a 24 hours clock and the English use a 12-hour clock. Okay, so because it is 24 hours, it's really not difficult to know when it is morning, when it is afternoon, or when it is evening, because it is 24 hours. And of course, when we say 24 hours, the time starts from 0. Okay, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then we'll continue like that again. We have 13, 14, 15, 16, 2024. Of course. Can you see it's not difficult? So how do we count that? How do we say that in French language? So let's start from the beginning of the clock, that is the 0 hour. Okay, so imagine that a clock is in front of you. Can you see, like, we have our clock round like this, and you have the 12 on top, you have the 6 below, you have the 3 at the side, and you have 9 at this other side. Okay, so let's start that with just an imagination. Okay, so now let's start from 0 hour. Should I call it that way? Yeah, 0 hour. Okay, so the 0 hour is the 12 midnight. So let's start counting our time from zero. Of course, we're starting from the beginning. So let's count. So when it is 12 midnight, how do you say that in French? It's either you say il est 0 heure or you say il est minuit. It's 12 o'clock a.m. Il est 0 0 heure. That is just like the way. So you say il est 0 heure or you say il est minuit. So let's continue. So if you want to say it is 1 a.m., you say il est 1 heure. You don't say il est 1 heure. You say il est 1 heure. Okay, and you don't say 1 heure. You say il est 1 heure. Okay, I think we've clarified that. Then that continues that way. Like 1 heure, 2 heures, 3 heures, 4 heures, 5 heures, 6 heures, 7 heures, 8 heures, 9 heures, 10 heures, 11 heures, and now we're back to 12. So we have il est 12 heures. So if you want to say it is 12 p.m., you say il est 12 heures. So remember, the 12 now is for the afternoon. The 0 heure is for the midnight. Don't forget, don't get it twisted. So 12 heures is afternoon. When they tell you 12 heures, you're not wondering, 12 heures le matin ou bien 12 heures l'après-midi. So you know that it is 12 heures après-midi, okay, in the midi. If you don't say il est 12 heures, you can as well say il est midi. Il est midi. And so you don't say il est midi heure, you say il est midi. Because the way we write time in French, you write it with the sign H. So you have something like 12 H 0 0. Do you understand? That is the hour and then the minutes beside it. Okay, so you will not say il est midi heure. You say il est midi. So il est 12 heures ou bien il est midi. So now once it is 1 p.m., how do we now say it? Of course, because we know that the French hour is 24. So the number continues, so you don't stop at 12. What is the next number after 12? It is 13. So 1 p.m. is 13. So you say il est 13 heures. Okay, like 13 heures, 14 heures, 15 heures, 16 heures, 17 heures, 18 heures, 19 heures, 20 heures, 21 heures, 22, 23, and 0 0 again. Okay, so you guys, it's very easy. It's not that difficult. So now let's move to the next one that we need to know. So that being said, I told you to imagine the clock hole. We have the 12, we have the 6, we have the 3, we have the 9. So now let's imagine that the long hand is on the 3 by this side, and so whichever the time, whether morning or afternoon, but it is 15 minutes. So for example, let's imagine that it is in the morning. I'm going to say 2:15 a.m. Okay, so we will say il est 2 heures et quart. Okay, il est 2 heures et quart. So for 15 minutes you use a quart. Okay, that is the quarter of 30. So you know that 12 is up, we have 0 0, and 30 minutes, half of 30 is 15. So that's quarter, that's a quart. I hope you understand the logics. Okay, so a quart, or you can still say il est 2 heures 15. I hope you understand. You can still say the number il est 2 heures 15 ou bien il est 2 heures et quart. So now let's move to the next one. We have for the 30 underneath it. Because we have quarter, so 30 is half of it. So instead of saying il est 2 heures 30, you can as well say il est 2 heures et demie. That is half of the entire 60. Half of it is 30. So we have demi. So you can either say il est 2 heures 30 ou bien il est 2 heures et demie. So now let's move to the next one. I hope that's been understood. The next one is to what we call in English as to something something something. For example, we have 10 minutes to 6, 7 minutes to 7, 10 minutes to, or 15 minutes to. So now let's start with the 15 minutes. So for 15 minutes you say moins le quart. For 15 minutes you say moins le quart. So for example, let's give it time. Let's say it is 8 p.m. in the in the evening, 8 p.m. in the evening. So we want to say it is 8:45. If we say it is 8:45, you will say il est 20h45, or you say it is 15 minutes to 9. So to say it is 15 minutes to 9, you will say il est 21h moins le quart. I hope you got that. Okay, so there's an addition that is it's no longer 8, 9, it is 9, 15 minutes to 9. Instead of saying il est 20h, so you will now say il est 21h moins le quart. I hope you got that. It's not difficult. Okay, so but for others, note it is only when we have 15 minutes, less 15 minutes, we say moins le quart. For example, if it is 5 minutes or 10 minutes, you don't need to say le quart, you just use it directly. For example, if it is 8:50, that is, yeah, 8:50, which is 10 minutes to 9, so you say il est 20h50, il est 20h50, ou bien il est 21h moins 10. Okay, so you say il est 21h moins 10. Okay, so you don't need to say moins le quart, so you just say il est 21h moins 10, il est 21h moins 5, il est 21h moins 3, il est 21h moins 2. Just say the number directly. So but for 15 minutes you make use of moins le quart. I hope you got that. Okay, so I haven't gotten that, and that's all. Those are the important things you need to know. You have 0h ou bien minuit, then you have a quart, we have demi, and you have moins le quart. Okay, it's not hard. So since we know that, of course it's easy to start communicating. Our communication can be more effective with whoever we are talking with, and then we can easily hear people even when they're telling other people time. So it won't be like, what are they saying? You don't understand. You get me? So now let's look at one or two examples into infusing time into our daily activities. For example, you can ask, le cours commence à quelle heure? You understand? So le cours commence à quelle heure? You can say, le cours commence à 7h pile. So you can say le cours commence à 7h pile. So that pile in that context means prompt in English language. That is on the dot, prompt or sharp. For example, you say it's 7 o'clock sharp, it's 7 o'clock prompt, it's 7 o'clock on the dot. Do you understand? Okay, so that's the meaning of the pile. If you want to use that on the dot, sharp or prompt in French, you say pile. Il est 7h pile, or le cours commence à 7h pile, ou bien à 8h pile, ou bien à 14h, ou bien à 15h pile. I hope you got that. So we can also have à quelle heure commence le film? À quelle heure commence le film? And then you can answer by saying le film commence à 22h, à 23h, 21h, 20h, 19h, 18h, whichever time you want to say. So you can either ask as well by saying c'est à quelle heure? C'est à quelle heure? Okay? So you can either say so commence à quelle heure? À quelle heure commence so, or c'est à quelle heure? Okay, I hope you understand that. Okay, so having know that, yeah, let's start saying our time in French language. I hope you find this video useful, educative, or informative. Of course, if you have watched this video up to this point, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up, share to loved ones, and don't forget to hit the subscription button. Let's get together, let's stay together and get more awesome content from here. Okay, so see you in the next video. A bientôt.